All right, so today we are going to be doing some quadrat sampling, which is what a scientist would do if they wanted to kind of track all the different things that are in a certain location. They'll use it a lot to compare different habitats, maybe to take data about different parts inside of a habitat. Like if you've ever been to a tide pool, the tide pool has like different zones. And so in each of those zones, you'll find different things. And so that's what a scientist would use quadrat sampling for, is to kind of compare different locations, looking at both those abiotic factors and those biotic factors and how they affect how many things can actually live in that habitat. Quadrat sampling. So things you'll need to do before you get started is you're going to need that worksheet. So either print out the worksheet that I gave you, or you can make your own. I kind of drew one right here on a whiteboard so I could take some data. And you'll need to head outside for this lesson. So I'm just right in my backyard, but you can go anywhere that you can find some natural spaces. I would avoid anything with lots of concrete. Another thing you'll need is some sort of a device that's going to be your measuring circle. So usually when we do this, we would do it with a hula hoop. I don't have any hula hoops at my house, so I'm going to be using my bike chain from my bike lock. You can see just something that's going to make a circle or a square. You can use a rope, maybe some sticks stuck together, or a piece of cardboard that you can make, and it can be a circle or a square. It doesn't matter which way to do it. So to do it, I would take my measuring quadrat, is what we call this. So this quadrat is where we're going to be sampling, and I would just put it straight onto a location where I'm going to sample, have my worksheet nearby. Now what you need to do in this sample is look for everything that's in this abiotic and biotic category. So I might start with just some of the abiotic factors, like this place is kind of wet because it rained last night, full sun. I can't really see the soil, but I would imagine it's pretty good if grass is growing. The air and the temperature is going to be the same because you're going to sample in the same kind of place. But if you do it over 2 different days, you definitely want to take that into consideration. All right, so when it's time to record, there's a couple ways you can do it. First, I can list things, like I can say it's full sun. If the whole circle had like some shade, I could say, 50% sun, 50% shade. My circle has all sun though, so I would just write full sun. I could even do a percentage like 100% sun. Water, I would just say, it's very wet. In terms of air and temperature, won't make a difference unless there's a big difference between the 2 spots you choose. But I'm going to say it's warm and not too humid, and I can't really see the soil, so I'm just going to leave that one blank. Now, for biotic, this is where you have to look at your circle and you want to find all living things. So in here, first one I see is lots of grass. I could just write either the number or like a percentage. So I'm going to say it's 100% grass. There is just grass everywhere. Now I need to dig down and see if I can find something else. So when I look a little closer, I notice that there's this plant here that has these little blue flowers. I can count up how many there are. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one over here, 7, 8. So I can say 8 plants with blue flowers. And then I want to dig because I want to see if there's any bugs here. Maybe I can find an ant or a worm, or if there was something like if there was a stick, I could lift it up. And I would just try to track everything I found. Oh, here's another thing I found. In my sample, this is like a little seed pod of the tree I'm under. Let's see if I can find any more. I think there's just this one. So I would put one seed, and then I would continue. If I saw anything in here that was abiotic, like plastic or rocks or glass, those would be things I would definitely want to add into my abiotic category as well. So at the end, you should have a tally of both all the abiotic factors and biotic factors you can see with either percent or numbers. And then it's time to go to a different location. All right, for your second location, you want to try to choose something that's different, maybe a different habitat, a different place that you can access, but we want to try something different. So my last one was a grass lawn, just was pretty much all grass. I could definitely see there were a couple things in there, but not that much interesting things for me to add into my worksheet. So for my second spot, I went farther down in my backyard, and it's closer to a lagoon, so you can see there's definitely different trees and stuff here. And then I laid out my quadrat sampling here. Now here I can see lots of different plants, there's bark and things. So for this sample, I'm gonna really have to dig down in here and see what kind of things I can find under, because remember, we're trying to take a snapshot of exactly what this area looks like. So I'd want to write down these different types of plants and how much they're covering. I would want to write that there's lots of bark and things like that. If I can see the soil, I want to write down what the soil looks like. Is it sandy or rocky, or does it look like good, dark, fertile soil? It looks pretty good. So that's what you need to do for your second location. Be sure to keep them both separate. They're going to be two different charts.